bottles in the VIP. Yeah, we popping bottles in the VIP. Woo!
Popping bottles and yeah, we getting models. We moving at full throttle. Come on, baby, you gotta just.
What up, y'all? It's your boy A.P.T. back once again with another album review, and this time I'm happy to review Jay-Z's newest album, Magna Carta Holy Grail. Now, as you guys know, I like to review albums that have leaked and give you the review before it comes out officially on the streets. This situation is a little bit different though, because as you know, Jay-Z struck a deal with Samsung to have the first 1 million copies of his album available for free download on a Samsung app. So of course, as soon as the app went for free on the East Coast, the album leaked everywhere, and now anybody can pretty much get it online. There's a lot of hype leading up to this album in the last 3 weeks, from when he first announced it on the NBA Finals commercial, all the way to having little things to release the lyrics in one area, then releasing the commercials explaining more details about the album and all that stuff. The only thing that's important at the end of the day is this album any good? How does it stack up to his previous albums, as well as some of the other hip hop that's come out in the last couple of weeks? In terms of the sound of this album, overall it gives the feel of like a jam session. I mean, even the way the album starts off, the first song, Picasso Baby,
I'm a hustler, no I'm an asshole. I'm never satisfied, cannot my hustle.
It really sounds like more of a mixtape song than an album opener, where it's like most album openers sound like you're announcing the album. This is like the definitive, hey, welcome to the album song, and this isn't that song. It just sounds like you're just going right into it, and we're just starting to Jump Street, putting some songs on. There's not really a cohesive sound to this album per se. I mean, the beats go from a rock sample to a hip-hop sounding song to, one that has minimalistic beats to it. The guest artists on this album are pretty good, but it's nice because they don't really take away from the main attraction, which is Jay-Z. So you got your Beyonce on here, you got your Nas, you got your Justin Timberlake, you got your Rick Ross, which I was surprised to hear. You got Frank Ocean on one of the songs. All these contributors sound great on the album, but they don't deter away from Jay-Z. Another nice thing is, in contrast to the last album, The Blueprint 3, this album has Jay sounding a little bit more confident in himself. I felt with the last album, he had to, use people like Drake and a lot of the newcomers in the game to try to keep up with him and show that he was still relevant. Whereas this one, he doesn't sound like he has to prove his relevancy. Now, at this point in Jay-Z's career, he's got the luxury of knowing that he's got a wide fan base that has certain expectations of him. And this album is no different. So all the Jay-Z-isms that you've come to love over the years, in terms of him talking about the drug game, in terms of him using religious metaphors in certain songs, in terms of him talking about, him being the best in the game and how he's, 10 levels above everybody else based on certain deals he's putting through. All that stuff is on this album. There are a few new things that he's added because, of course, he's had a baby with Beyonce. So he has a song in there called Jay-Z Blue.
My baby getting chubby. Cue that Stevie Wonder music, oh, isn't she lovely?
Where he talks about the fears that he has about, whether he's going to be a good father, and how since he didn't have any influences that were positive growing up in terms of his father being there, that he worries if he's going to be doing the same thing to his daughter. So yeah, I like the fact that he's able to put out songs now where he talks about his family and talks about his daughter and loving his wife, things that weren't always in his roster. If you go back to like the Big Pimpin' days, we was talking about, I don't love these hoes. Now he's talking about, I got a wife that I want to bang, and I got a baby that I'm looking after, and don't cross between any of those things or I might take you out. Now, this album is a lot more mellow than the last couple of albums he put out with Watch the Throne and Blueprint 3. He had a lot of club bangers on there and songs that were more up-tempo, which I personally like. I love up-tempo songs all day long. With this album, it's a little bit more mellow. The album starts off kind of fast-paced. Then you get a lot of songs that are just kind of like, they're more head nodders than straight out club bangers. So you won't find yourself really trying to dance a whole lot to a lot of the songs, but you will find yourself, being in tune with the beat. I think the roster of producers that he got on this album, from Pharrell to Swiss Beats, Timberland, I think all those guys collectively make great beats, and even though they're not as up-tempo as they could be, the vibe is still there to where it's like, I don't hate the songs. I'm able to kind of groove with them and be like, okay, this would be a good song to play in my car. This would be a good song to be bumping. I'm trying to cook some stuff in the kitchen. It's whatever. So, what rating should this album get? Now, in the last couple of weeks, I've reviewed Kanye's new album, Yeezus, where I gave it an 8.5. I gave J. Cole's recent album, Born Sinner, a 9.5. With this album, it's hard because I'm a Jay-Z fan, and I know I'm going to make this CD. I'm going to be bumping it in my car for the next couple of months easily. And as with all Jay-Z albums, the more you listen to it, the more things you're going to pick up. You're going to pick up some more metaphors and entendres that you didn't pick up the first couple of times. So I know in the long run of this album, I'm going to enjoy this. But in terms of the first listen of it, I got to say, it's definitely not as good as J. Cole's album. And Yeezus was good, but it only had 10 songs on it, and a few of them I could skip through. With this one, I don't think I'll skip through as many songs. I think the overall feel of the album is such that I'll like it a lot more, and I'll be able to go through songs without having to skip through a lot of stuff. But I don't know if I can rate it higher than an 8.5. Like, I'm going between 8.5 and 9, but I think overall in the grand scheme of things, I think I got to stick this one also with an 8.5. I think it's one that's going to bump well over the summer. I think it'll have a long shelf life, and I think because of the innovative way that Jay put it out, that it's going to be talked about for a long time. Yeah, that's really all I can say. So I give it an 8.5. I would recommend getting it. I don't care if you got to download it off Samsung app. I don't care if you got to buy it. It's definitely a very good hip-hop album. So I would say go ahead and get it. I'm A.P.T, and that's been this review. So check me out next time, y'all, when I review the next album that comes out. Peace.
VIP, yeah, VIP. We turned up in the VIP. Yeah. Room full of girls in the VIP. Yeah. We popping bottles in the VIP.
Popping bottles and yeah, we getting models. We moving at full throttle.